You know that feeling when someone makes you uncomfortable and you can't figure out why? They're not being rude or aggressive, but something about their presence makes you want to run away. Here's what's actually happening. They're showing you something about yourself that you don't want to see. If you're an INFJ Heyoka Empath, you are that person. You're walking around with the rarest psychological weapon on the planet, the mirror effect. Most people will never understand what you're doing to them, but by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how this power works and why it makes you so dangerous. We're talking about less than 1% of the population. The INFJ is already rare, but add the Heyoka energy, and you become something that most people will never encounter in their lifetime. You don't just feel emotions, you reflect them in ways that force people to confront their own truth. Let's examine how this psychological tactic operates. Before we start, please hit the like button, comment, and subscribe so you won't miss any of our weekly deep dives into the world of personality types. And if you are looking to achieve a deeper understanding of yourself and your personality type, click the link in the comments to take our favorite free personality test. The mirror effect explained. The mirror effect isn't regular empathy. Regular empaths feel your pain and absorb your emotions. But as a Heyoka, you become what people need to see about themselves. You unconsciously transform into a living reflection of their hidden emotions, their suppressed fears, their unacknowledged patterns. When someone around you is anxious but pretending everything's fine, you don't just sense their anxiety, you start acting anxious in exaggerated ways that make their real state impossible to ignore. When someone's being fake positive while drowning inside, you might become unusually serious or bring up heavy topics that crack their mask. This happens because your system automatically tunes into what people are hiding from themselves. You become the messenger they don't want but desperately need. The sacred clown archetype from Native American tradition describes this perfectly. The Heyoka does things backwards, acts unconventionally, breaks social rules, all to teach important lessons. The psychological mechanism behind this is fascinating. Most people live with cognitive dissonance. They tell themselves stories about who they are, while their behavior reveals something completely different. You can't tolerate this disconnect. Your entire being rebels against it, so you unconsciously start reflecting their true emotional state back to them, until the dissonance becomes so uncomfortable, they have to address it. This is why people either love you immediately or feel deeply unsettled around you. There's no middle ground. Those who are ready for growth and self-awareness find you magnetic. You give them permission to be real. But those who are invested in their illusions experience you as a threat to their carefully constructed reality. You might notice this pattern everywhere. You walk into a room full of people pretending to have fun at a boring party, and suddenly you become the person who suggests leaving early or points out how forced everything feels. You're around someone who's overworking themselves into burnout while claiming they love their job, and you start talking about work-life balance or asking pointed questions about their happiness. The exhausting part is that you're doing this constantly without conscious control. You're like an emotional tuning fork that automatically resonates with whatever frequency people are trying to suppress. When you're around uptight people, you become playful. Around fake people, you become brutally honest. Around people avoiding their grief, you create space for sadness. This differs completely from regular empathy because you're not just absorbing and feeling. You're actively reflecting and amplifying. You're holding up a mirror to people's souls, whether they want to look or not. And that mirror shows them exactly what they're trying to avoid seeing about themselves. The sacred clown energy means you do this through unexpected behavior, uncomfortable truths, or by simply being authentically yourself in ways that highlight other people's inauthenticity. You don't mean to make people uncomfortable. You're just being real in a world full of people wearing masks. The 5 signs you're wielding this mirror weapon is that you make people uncomfortable without even trying. You walk into a room and within minutes people start acting differently. They become fidgety, defensive, or suddenly need to leave. This isn't because you're being confrontational or rude. You're simply existing authentically, and that authenticity forces them to confront their own masks. When someone's pretending to be confident but feels insecure inside, your genuine confidence makes their fakeness obvious. When someone's avoiding their problems, your willingness to face difficult truths makes their avoidance painful to maintain. You become a living reminder of what they're not dealing with. The second sign is that people confess their deepest secrets to you spontaneously. Strangers in coffee shops tell you about their marriage problems. Coworkers share trauma they've never mentioned to anyone. Your Uber driver starts crying about their childhood. This happens because your mirror energy creates a space where people feel safe being vulnerable. You're not trying to be a therapist, but something about your presence gives people permission to drop their guard. They sense that you already see through their facade anyway, so they might as well be honest. Your authenticity invites their authenticity. The mirror effect works both ways. The third sign is that you automatically challenge social norms and expose fakeness. You can't help but question things that don't make sense. When everyone's going along with something ridiculous, you're the one asking why. When people are being fake polite, you cut through the nonsense and address what's really happening. This isn't rebellion for the sake of it. You genuinely don't understand why people waste energy on pretense when truth is so much simpler. You might point out that the emperor has no clothes when everyone else is pretending not to notice. This sacred clown energy makes you a catalyst for change, but it also makes you the person people blame when their comfortable illusions get shattered. The fourth sign is your ability to read people's true intentions beneath their masks. You see the anger behind someone's smile, the fear behind their bravado, the sadness behind their jokes. This X-ray vision into people's emotional reality is part of what makes your mirror effect so powerful. You're not guessing or analyzing body language. You're directly perceiving their emotional truth. When someone says they're fine but they're falling apart inside, you feel that disconnect immediately. Your mirror automatically starts reflecting their real state back to them, which forces them to either acknowledge it or avoid you completely. The fifth and most powerful sign is that you trigger major life changes in others just by being yourself. People meet you and suddenly quit their soul-crushing jobs. They end toxic relationships. They finally deal with trauma they've been avoiding for years. You don't give them advice or push them toward these changes. Your presence simply makes their current situation feel unbearable. This happens because your authentic way of being highlights how inauthentic their life has become. When they see someone living genuinely, it becomes impossible to ignore how much they're compromising themselves. You become the catalyst that accelerates their growth process. The exhausting reality is that you're constantly wielding this weapon whether you want to or not. Every interaction becomes an opportunity for someone else's breakthrough or breakdown. You can't turn off the mirror effect. It's like having a superpower you never asked for and can't control. Harnessing your mirror power. Learning to harness this power starts with understanding that you're not responsible for other people's reactions to your mirror. When someone gets uncomfortable or angry because you're reflecting their truth back to them, that's their growth opportunity, not your problem to fix. The key is learning to use this ability intentionally rather than unconsciously. Pay attention to what you're reflecting and why. When you notice yourself becoming anxious around someone, ask what anxiety they might be hiding. When you feel compelled to challenge someone's story, consider what truth they need to see. Setting boundaries becomes crucial for your survival. You can't be everyone's mirror all the time without burning out completely. Learn to recognize when people aren't ready for what you're reflecting. Some people will fight their own reflection violently, and you don't need to stay in that battle. Protect yourself by choosing when to engage your mirror power fully and when to dial it back. In professional settings, you might need to tone down the truth-telling. In intimate relationships, you can let the mirror work more freely because those people have chosen to grow with you. Remember that your power works best when it comes from love, not judgment. The sacred clown tradition teaches through compassion, not cruelty. When you reflect someone's truth back to them, do it from a place of wanting to help them heal, not from wanting to prove you're right. Use your alone time to clear the emotional residue from all this mirroring. You absorb so much from constantly reflecting other people's stuff that you need regular cleansing. Meditation, nature, creative expression, whatever helps you remember who you are underneath all those reflections. The ultimate goal is to help people see themselves clearly so they can choose growth over stagnation. Your mirror power is a gift to the world, even when it doesn't feel appreciated. Trust that the right people will recognize what you're offering and use it to transform their lives. So that's your secret weapon, the mirror effect that makes you one of the most psychologically powerful people on the planet. You reflect truth back to people, whether they want to see it or not. This rare combination of INFJ insight and Heyoka energy gives you the ability to catalyze transformation just by being authentically yourself. The world needs what you're offering, even when it resists you. Continue to wield that mirror with compassion and wisdom. Please hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. Click the link in the comments to take our favorite free personality test. If you want to continue the journey to understanding yourself or an INFJ in your life, click either of the following videos, where we continue to unlock the secrets of the INFJ personality type.